but you can't quite place it.
Sure.
Um, as you go on and get a little more detail, though, you may be able to make a roll at the end. So,
Okay.
um, all right. In this image, as you see, as Akama sees this, the man and the bear are not in the image, but everything else is the same.
I was gonna say that. No. Um, I see a plains-like area with mountain range in the background, very misty, and a very big skull of a maybe a bull or some type of animal with horns. It's just a skull, maybe as big as a boat or a yacht. Uh, and it's dead. It's just skull. It looks like it's been there for a long time, next to a river. And now I see a wolf with a bull nose ring.
You get the impression it's some kind of bear, some kind of savage, almost demonic looking or like spirit looking bear.
Oh, no, no, it doesn't look like a wolf anymore. It's a bear. It's more like a demonic bear. Kind of has like blood around its neck, its mane down to its like chest area. Very toothy. Has a one top tooth protruding, not protruding, but overlapping its bottom jaw.
Okay, and then at the very end, you get a final, really bright, vivid flash of this creature.
Ah, ah, ah! What the hell is that? I see I see a very mystical being with horns coming around like a U, and then very skinny like no face, faceless. It has uh kind of like pointy body pieces coming off of its hips, very feminine like in manner, but it has kind of like a bony wings with no feathers attached to its shoulders, and its mystical blue aura around it, like a mist, so to say.
Okay, and as this image fades, you come back to your senses and slowly start regaining function in your body. It seems that whatever spell or trance this was is starting to release its grip, and slowly, second by second, you start feeling the weight of your body return and the pressure of the physical, real world around you once again starting to kind of hold you down and box you in. Your spirit once again tethered to the real. As this is transpiring, Ren, you're still next to him, kind of, watching over him. You guys hear another kind of bubbling chuckle from Babatuk, and he looks down at you, Akama, and he says, "I didn't lie, did I? It gave you exactly what I promised. You saw." And at this, you can tell he's trying to just convey. I mean, he was like trying to fuck anybody over. He offered to let you see, and he let you see. And at least that's how he's seeing it. Um, at this, he starts turning and walking back towards the child, but he doesn't seem threatening or menacing. He actually has a hand outstretched, and none of you notice any kind of magical energy coming from him. Now, what you do notice is that Ymir's form is no longer seeming to make that sizzling noise, but you hear a strange, kind of hollow, almost bull like breath come out in a large, loud snort from his chest. You hear this almost like a bestial kind of grunt escaping from him. And as it does, he starts rising back up to his full height, starting to plant his hand on the ground and one knee raised up as he starts to leverage himself back up to full height. As he does so, his image is changed, and you see that the being before you has now grown long, majestic, regal horns. Um, they do not look like normal bone or animal horns. There is some kind of mystical quality about them. And immediately, as he stands fully, he lets out another breath, and a kind of smoking kind of mist emanates from his mouth, like a warm breath on an ice cold day. As he does this, he slowly opens his eyes, and you see a kind of flare of energy escape them um, as they open fully. He looks around slowly and seems to take a moment to adjust to his new form. Bear, what would you like to do? As you come to, you indeed feel that the ancestral change is upon you, something only rumored in legends of your people from long ago. Now, whatever you wish to share about this is up to you, but you know for sure what has just occurred. Okay.
Does Ymir hear the sounds of Wotek at all? Does he hear any of that commotion while he's
Wotek has gone completely silent.
Okay. So it's literally I'm staring at the party right now, basically back on my feet staring at the party.
Mm-hmm.
Well, given the vision that he just had
real
and
quick, I do want to tell you, you
Okay.
realize that after hearing Wotek's response, and now you awaking with what's just transpired and knowing that he's now silent, you are positive that he absolutely knew what was about to happen
Right.
and wanted to stop it. Just want to make
Right.
that clear.
Oh no, absolutely. I
Okay.
completely understand that. Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate you reiterating that, but I definitely picked up on that. That's why I asked
Good.
about whether I heard him or not. But Ymir stands there stoically in silence and just doesn't really even acknowledge Babatuk right now because he's still in the throes of power, dealing with the transformation that just happened. But he is, as his vision kind of clears, he locks eyes at first with Pilgrim and just nods his head directly at her.
She
As
steps over to you, and as she does, you see that she has a very empathetic and sympathetic look in her eye. She is looking at you as a concerned mother or parent would look at a child who has just been through something terrible. And with that look of sympathy on her face and comfort, she reaches up and gently touches your arm, and as she does so, she just kind of nods in just kind of a knowing gesture of support. And after this, she kind of steps back. You see that Harmony quickly comes back over and rejoins her at her side, and Babatuk appears to be kind of kneeling down and speaking softly with the child several feet away. All right. What would you like to do?
Ymir turns around and for the first time ever, he actually acknowledges Babatuk with not a disdain or disgust outright because as much as Ymir doesn't like it, as foul as the Black Souls are, he now knows something about himself that those in his society, with all of their magic, with all of their respect for nature and the balance of the world, that's what some of the revelations that he had come to could only happen in a blazing forest fire of the darker side of magic rather than their more protected harmonic nature magic. So he, with the ever most slightest nod, not necessarily of thanks, but understanding, like that something was unlocked in him because of whatever just happened. He gives him a slight nod and then turns to both Ren and Akama.
As you give Babatuk a slight nod, he reciprocates, and with a wide smile, he says, "There will be much to talk about, little Ember, in these days to come." All right, and so continue.
Ymir looks at both Akama and Ren, sort of like, I know I'm okay. Like he's coming out of it. Like he's not rich and in pain or anything. I'm guessing he's
No,
fully formed and
yep, you're
coming back
feeling
to his senses.
you're feeling different and affected, but not compromised in any way.
Okay.
With two large sweeping back horns from his head.
Yes, indeed.
I gotta redraw your whole fucking character.
No, you don't, because they're tucked underneath the bear skin. That's what I called it.
There you go.
Fit.
There you go.
I'll have to do something.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I looked at it anyway. You know, maybe doing an allusion to it. But Ymir looks
I mean,
at
guys,
his
Transformers don't really make sense, but they make it work.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if you knew, but they're more than meets the eye.
Touche.
Well,
Touche.
now you got a giant that's more than meets the eye now.
Right?
But
All right.
Ymir looks at his two comrades stoically, kind of proudly, sort of like because he feels the embrace of the ancients after this vision and with the transformation that just happened. But he looks at them with stoic eyes, like dead centered eyes, and just goes, "Where is Wotek?" in English.
Do you guys want to answer?
Don't. No.
He's in the same spot where he was before.
Okay.
Well, hold on. I blink my eyes a few times, and then I pop up like the Undertaker, and I look around like, what the fuck just happened? And then after I heard,
Oh, Akama! Oh!
and then I look at Ymir, and then in shock, I like my body like shakes just a tad bit, and I look at him as I'm like rubbing my eyes to see like what just transpired, like what happened. And then after he had asked where is Wotek, I look at him in a quick confused look, like he's in the same spot where he was before.
Okay.
I hope.
And so what would you like to do, Ymir?
Does anyone else react? Does Harmony speak up and say anything? I'm just wondering.
She basically just looks very surprised. Her eyes are round as coffee saucers right now, and as she looks up the staircase, she just kind of points timidly, almost like shocked at everything that just happened and at your new appearance. So she's just signaling he's still up there.
Okay. Well, slowly,
And
deliberately.
Pilgrim, standing next to her, raises a hand and bows her head softly in a gesture of calm yourself.
Well, given how Ymir is feeling right now with both Mighty but he also feels a sense of betrayal that he would never expect because he thought with their relationship that there was nothing that Wotek would have kept from him. So understandably he is very upset, but understanding her gesture, like take it easy, everyone can tell that he is infuriated, but he's not raging. He's not gonna just go out there and like he's not bolting up
Okay.
the stairs. Instead, it's the exact opposite. He's moving very slowly, very deliberately, step by step up the steps so Wotek can hear him and his footfalls as he walks into the hallway and down towards where the commotion was before he blacked out.
Okay, so you head up to the front doors and already you would assume monks or priests that were reinforcing it with their will, they've already stepped back and are slowly starting to open the doors. As they've removed the crossbar, you see that a little bit of daylight is starting to peek through the doors that are starting to open as you approach. And as they swing open, you see him on the other side, now just sitting and basically almost like moping with his head down. He seems just kind of despondent and depressed and sad somehow. And as you approach, he kind of doesn't even take notice. He's just sitting there with his head down, kind of lolling side to side slowly.
Ymir looks at Wotek, walks up to him very solemnly, and there's a difference in his voice now. The voice that he hears because of this transformation is not the same Ymir that Wotek has come up with the last century. There is a deeper, more primal tone that he hasn't heard in many, many centuries since he and Nirvana first arrived on Rift's Earth. And that is sort of this deep tone that Thorloff possessed. And he looks at Wotek and he goes, "We have much to speak of later, though, brother. For now, calm yourself, and we shall speak soon." And then he turns around, walks away, and rejoins the group.
Okay. And Wotek basically sits there. You get the sense that he acknowledges you, but he's just almost like I said, completely despondent. He's just
Oh fuck, the cat's out of the bag type stuff.
yeah. He does not seem happy at all.
Right.
All right. So you head back and you guys have just a brief moment to talk amongst yourselves while he's gone. Does anybody want to say anything, or is there anything you're wanting to investigate or do?
I look at Ren and I asked him, "Did you get all the stuff that I was talking about before?"
I did. I still don't understand why you want to do it in fear with someone else's vision, dream. It seems somewhat intrusive, somewhat not right. Still don't know why you just jumped into an invite from a guy who looks like that and acts like that. But yeah, I got your scattered images that you were yelling out. Lots of bones, blood, fire, and bears.
Does Ymir overhear any of this conversation as he's
no, you're gone
okay.
for this part of it.
Okay. Okay. Just excellent.
Anything you want to say, Kaba?
You have not come across many beings as I have over the course of these lifelong years I've been on this earth. I've been in many planes of existence, and he just seems like he has a key to information I seek.
You guys can each have another line or two. Does anybody want to say anything else? You do hear Ymir starting to at least walk back at the top of the stairs now. And Harmony and Pilgrim have walked over and are now kind of huddled around the child and seem to be discussing in low voices something between themselves as they're kind of checking on the child. They don't really seem to be speaking with Babatuk, who is still kneeling next to the child, has one hand on the child's shoulder, and just seems to be kind of offering some support. Again, no magic seems to be at play, no manipulation, just he seems to just be offering support. And okay, did you guys want to say anything else or do anything else real quick or?
So, question.
Sure.
Harmony and Pilgrim are next to the child while Babatuk is next to the child as they talk amongst each other?
Yes,
They're not really conversing with him, but he's there.
Yeah, and they're not
Okay.
trying to really include him in their conversation, but they're not like it's not so secret that they're just not even speaking. So whatever it is, you would guess that it's more out of just whatever they're discussing, they're just not trying to necessarily broadcast it. They're just showing a little, a little subtlety with how they communicate about what's going on. You feel like if you walked over there, they wouldn't really just stop talking, though. Does that make sense? They're standing about 10 feet away, just so you guys have kind of perspective on this. So
I basically am sitting on the ground and go and cross my legs into like a, cross-legged.
I get you.
Yeah, and I'll just sit there.
Right.
I'll sit there where I was laying down.
Okay.
I basically turn my body toward them, but am cross-legged and just basically taking in some breaths.
Okay. You're taking in some breaths and trying to just kind of recenter yourself. As you're doing this, from, let's see, from the other door, the other doorway that was stairs continuing to lead down. Okay. Those stairs, you guys hear some kind of heavy footfalls that are starting to come up the stairs. And when I say heavy footfalls, I mean tremendous weight being distributed through thunderous strikes of metal-clad feet. Heavy, heavy metal and tremendous weight. It's coming at a pace that makes it sound almost like whatever it is running up the stairs, which isn't really easy to do. So, as you guys hear this, what is everybody doing? Ymir, you're basically back down the flight of stairs that takes you back to where the rest of the group is right now. Okay? So again, there's kind of a landing at the bottom of those stairs and then a doorway that goes into the room that you guys are in with the looms and the child and everything. And then from the landing, there's that other doorway, that other kind of arch that leads down another set of stairs going deeper into the facility. I just wanted to remind everybody the kind of layout. So anyway, Bear, you can stay where you're at. You could start heading down the stairs. You could head back into the room. You're just
I'm making my way back towards the room. Ymir is, after dealing with Wotek, basically dismissing Wotek. Wotek knows he's in the metaphorical doghouse, so he's fucking, he better go chill. Because Ymir ain't having it.
All right. So you head into the room, and as you take up a position, everybody's able to hear the footfalls. And at this point, Babatuk, Harmony, and Pilgrim all kind of reorient themselves and start walking to the doorway, almost putting themselves between the doorway and the rest of you, including you, Ymir. As you come into the room, they kind of walk around you as well and position themselves to basically meet whatever's coming up the stairs, you would presume. Um, Anybody want to do anything? You guys probably
get
have
up.
just a few seconds. Okay.
I pop up, and now I'm standing. I want to make my way towards Ymir to admire his new physique.
Ooh, I like that. All right.
Check out my horns.
So as you slink your way over there, all cat-like and everything, and a little bit of jazz starts playing, you sidle up next to him, and yeah, man, he's put on a few pounds of muscle. You do notice, intriguingly, that a lot of his unsightly kind of giant-born body hair has seemed to recede. He seems a bit smoother, more of a swimmer's build now, if you will, than kind of a hairy barbarian. You notice that whatever the bone of the horns that he is now touting, whatever the bone is made of, it seems to have an almost scintillation as light reflects off of it as he turns in the different dim light of the room. And you wonder what kind of material that could be. You do know that you've seen some different animals across the megaverse that actually have a supernatural biology, which lends itself to allowing the accumulation of magical forces within the actual physical substance of their form. And that's why alchemists and wizards and all kinds of mages are so interested in things like unicorn horn or cyclops eye, dragon tooth. All of these things are based on the fact that the physics of magic permeates the physical properties of that it inhabits. So in this, you get a sense that there may be something truly unique and fascinating about whatever the fuck these horns are made of, and the way that you see his features slightly altered. It definitely raises your interest because you've heard of different kinds of rituals and ceremonies, sometimes even curses and possession, that are able to achieve these kind of effects. But whatever the hell he just experienced, you've never heard of something like that. That doesn't really make sense. People don't just have a vision and change. That shouldn't be a thing.
Here's what color are these antlers? Are like you said, like they made out of mythical materials or like that, but like are they like skin tone or do they look like almost like bone?
Bear, why don't you answer? Since this is a black and white image, it would be good for you to kind of,
Always imagine them as they're jet black, like oxen black. You know how dark oxen horn is? It's that sort of material.
That image, it just looked like it was just matching skin tone. That's why I was
right.
Right.
No, if you look at like the 3D models, because it's based on a Quinari from Dragon Age. If you look at their horns and that sort of dark same material, so that's sort of the reference.
And so on, not the Dragon Age 1.
Yeah.
Dragon Age 1, it was just to do with cornrows.
Right. Yeah. Like the Era Shock from Dragon Age 2 and the Quinari from Dragon Age 3, that sort of deal. Makes sense?
Yeah, but instead of it just being all one color, it's kind of like not as ridiculous and large, but Tim Curry black horns from Legend.
Jesus, best horns ever.
Same sort of
best horns ever.
Man. Oh my god, fucking practical effects or makeup in that movie.
Yeah.
Fucking
it's
top notch.
You watch it to this day and it's unbelievable. The hag still makes me pucker. Dude, that shit is unbelievable.
The guy that played the hag was the cowboy from Inner Space.
Really?
The cowboy. That guy. Yeah, he's he's in a bunch of other shit too. But yeah, it was just some actor that I'm like, I had no idea that was that dude. Meg Mucklebones. Yeah.
Nice. All right, guys. So, now that we've got that, go for it.
Since I'm in front of him now, I go ahead and I look up and I lock eyes with him and I put out like a very small smirk and I reach my hand out and I say, "Well met, my brother. Looking strong as
Sharp?
ever."
Oh, I think it's sharp.
right
Looking
on.
pointy.
Do you want to say anything, Ymir?
Yes, deeply acknowledging, understanding that Akama is offering him a sincere compliment from one warrior to another. Ymir nods his head and speaks in his broken English, but so Akama can understand, and he goes, "Indeed, great ancestors favor me. Truth unlocked today."
And I reach out and I grab his forearm in a sign of like a handshake.
Right on. All right.
Ymir reaches out and returns the gesture,
Right.
locking forearms with him like Spartan warriors or Vikings used to do.
Do you know this is a thing that your ancestors have had happen to them? This is a regular occurrence, or is a possible occurrence? This isn't like a shock. This isn't something new to you.
You're
Or
asking
new to your
me.
people.
You're at.
Yeah,
Oh no,
I'm asking you.
you're okay. No, I didn't know if you were asking me in character or out.
Yeah, I am in character. In character, I'm asking you.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Is this something that your people know of? Is it like? This isn't like a surprise to you. Like it's a surprise to you that happened maybe to you, but not. This is not something that's unheard of amongst your people, correct?
Yeah. Ymir turns to Ren, acknowledging his question, and nods his head and goes, "Very special. Great ancestor Thorloff," and he points to the horns. "Only one."
The Highlander. This is a bizarre question, and I hope it does not offend Ymir. Do your horns shed like antlers of a elk? Do you know?
Ymir kind of cocks his head thinking about it because he doesn't really know, to be honest. He didn't really even consider that given all what's happened. So he kind of cocks his head and shrugs his shoulders like, "Whoa, we'll just have to wait and see."
If it does happen, could I get a sample?
Ymir looks at him
What a question.
kind of sternly at first, looks down at him kind of sternly, but understands the inquisitive nature of his techno wizard friend, and he says, "Yes, but no removing while I sleep."
And then I look
Come
at
on, man, come on.
I look at Ren and I'm like, what? As I'm holding his forearm, I look at him like, what? And then I
What's
look
some
at
antler
Ymir
hands?
and I look at him like, what? And then I shake my head.
All right. So
It's like that like kid eating like a little like scoop of ice cream, and then he looks over and sees someone with a big old like fucking banana split with all the shit, and I'm just like, I throw away that little chitin skin you gave me, and I'm just like staring at his horn. I'm checking.
that brings new meaning to "don't flush." I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so as you guys have your little exchange, indeed the footfalls get closer, and everybody kind of pivots and faces the door. As through it, you all see this creature emerge. Now it stands about 10 feet tall. It's heavily armored, and it has tremendous kind of detailing and filigree of what looks to be some kind of brass-like metal. it seems to be very powerfully built. It literally is making kind of creaking noises on the stone of the floor as it's coming to a stop, not just from the impact, but from the stone itself shifting slightly under the weight. You could tell that whatever this creature is, it seems to weigh far more than any kind of humanoid inside of armor could. And it makes all of you wonder at the same time if it could actually be just a solid piece of metal, or metal with some kind of, ornamentation on it. As it stops in the doorway, it seems to slowly scan its head from one side to the other a couple of times as all in the room seems silent. Harmony, Pilgrim, and Babatuk have left the child towards the rear of the room, and the child has already sat down back at the loom and seems to be resting by leaning on it comfortably. As the three of them are standing before this figure in the doorway, it seems to complete assessing the situation and simply turns and slowly begins walking back down the stairs. This surprises all of you because you were expecting some kind of perhaps confrontation or some kind of acknowledgement that everything is okay. Whatever that creature was, it didn't seem interested in anything anyone had to say. It simply saw for itself and was satisfied that no further action needed to be taken. You all get the sense that it is immensely powerful, whatever it may be. Harmony speaks up and says very quietly, in the silence that's only interrupted by this creature's footfalls, she whispers, "That was Bishop Amagayin. Best not to run afoul of him if you wish to keep your head." And at this she makes a kind of adjusting motion with her neck as though remembering some truly terrifying incident from her past, something that makes her recall perhaps what it feels to swing from a gallows. There's something about the motion that you all get the sense that she may actually have experienced her neck breaking at one point. You can't be sure of this, but it almost seems like what she's trying to portray. Okay. So with this, the atmosphere in the room seems to relax a bit. Babatuk speaks up as he turns back around towards the rest of you and waves a kind of dismissive and irritated hand. And he says, "The child need to sleep. Out, all of ye." And he starts quickly pushing his way through everybody and tries to hurriedly get back to the child in the rear of the room. At this, Pilgrim and Harmony both say, "Yes, let's go. It's time for us to descend and rendezvous with the Grandmaster." And they begin very quickly exiting the room. What would you guys care to do?
I'll just leave the room until I'll get out, like he's.
Follow the party.
Okay.
Ymir kind of grumbles underneath his breath at the tone of the wizard, but he does respect his wishes and follows the rest of the group out.
Okay.
Right before I leave, I turn to Babatuk and I give a quiet nod. And then I walk away.
Okay, as you do this, he catches it and he stops. He pivots on one heel and really loudly plants his other foot as he turns back around to face you. And as he does so, he says, "Look at this! Look at this! The Atlantean has manners. The Atlantean has respect. Him I like." And with a small flourish of his wrist, from between his index and middle finger on his left hand, he produces what appears to be a jet black playing card of some kind. And with a flick of his wrist, it flies through the air, and you deftly are able to snatch it just inches in front of your chest. And as you flip it over and look at it, you see that it's completely black on both sides. You don't see any marks or any coloration, no symbols, nothing. Just a completely black playing card, a card the size of a playing card. You do notice that it feels completely rigid, and you would guess that as you kind of just do a gentle flex of it, since it has no give whatsoever, even to a fairly good amount of pressure, you would guess that it probably has at least, 1 or 2 mega damage. So it's not something just fragile, and you definitely can't bend it. Okay.
That's not expensive card stock.
Oh man. All right. Let's see. So as you grab that, you can make a note that you have the black playing card. And with this, he kind of gives you kind of a sly little wink and turns back around and starts walking back towards the child. All right. You guys head out. Is there anything you wanted to do, Akama, or anybody?
Oh, I'm just following the crew now.
All right. You guys all quickly start heading down the stairs, and you notice that creature sounded like it was walking fairly slowly, but apparently it made very good time, because as you guys are kind of rushing down the stairs at the pace that your companions are setting, you would guess that thing actually could fucking haul ass if it really wants to. You guys get down another...
Come on, Bishop can haul ass?
Correct.
Okay.
You guys get down this next flight of stairs, and as you do, you emerge in this room. This room seems very different from anything you've seen so far in this facility. It seems geared completely towards relaxation, perhaps meditation, but in a kind of holistic and naturalistic way. You don't really see any religious iconography or, any kinds of sigils or representations of gods. This seems to be just some kind of tranquil, harmonious space for people to relieve tension and relax. And then you start to notice that there's, several doors, 4 doors in total, that seem to lead from this little landing. And as you're looking around, you see that one of the doors, the furthest on the left there, it seems to be shut. And you see a small sign outside of the door hanging from the handle that says "Do Not Disturb." The one to its right, though, that one seems to be ajar just slightly, and you're able to see a kind of nice, kind of diffused, reddish, hazy glow, a kind of misty glow coming through the opening of the door. It's only open about 6-7 inches, but it's enough to let this kind of glow and what appears to be actual mist, some kind of steam, actually starts rolling through the door, enough for you guys to be able to perceive. You also hear from in that direction, here's some kind of like oafish kind of chuckle, some kind of and all of you kind of, for some reason, it sounds just a little bit familiar. Not sure why, but something about it sparks a recollection. As you guys, let me see. As you guys look over at the 3rd door in line, you see that this one as well is closed, and it has a door of red wood with silver trim, what looks to be silver trim, studs, handle, key, keyhole, the whole apparatus, all of the trim of the door appears to be made of some kind of silver. Again, that door is closed, and then the final door in this room you see is made of a black wood, and it seems to have kind of brass trim all along the door. This one seems a lot more ornate and elaborate than any of the others you've seen in here. It also seems to be much more fortified and heavy. That door is closed as well. As you guys kind of prepare to move on wherever they seem to be heading, and they kind of stop for just a brief second to say something softly to each other, again, you guys hear this kind of like lumbering chuckle, and it makes you realize now that it was the voice of this individual whom you saw when you first landed at Reflex Point. His calm and unassuming demeanor made an impression on all of you guys, and you all had some kind of feeling like Babatuk was somehow either watching over him or controlling him or commanding him. There was some relationship there. But this individual, he had never done anything to really cause any kind of problem for anyone that you had seen. And in fact, he seemed kind of, in a childlike way, he seemed kind of unassuming and benign, a kind of unthreatening individual. At
thought I
hearing
was
this,
dealing with I thought I was talking to Harmony and the monk when that interaction happened. I didn't think I ever saw this guy. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I did. I'm the one that was by a comic during that time. I don't think Ren saw it. I think Ren was talking to Harmony and the Mad Monk.
But he was in the entire group of mercs and everybody. He was
he was there, but when the interaction with him wasn't brought up until I was already apart from the group.
Exactly.
Just
fair enough. Absolutely.
Like, I might recognize him, but I didn't have a interaction with him.
Absolutely. And you do get from the way that you're hearing him laugh right now, it's very much like a child who is not socially on their guard in any way. And that lends itself very strongly to the perception of this is somebody who's probably not very threatening, or at least at the moment isn't somebody to really be worried about. As you guys all recognize that kind of voice or that kind of noise, it's up to you if anybody wants to walk forward. Now that again is coming from the door with the kind of mist and the glow coming out of it. If anyone wants to say or do anything, you're more than welcome to. I know that it looks like, do we have about 20 minutes left? Is that about right? I just want to
only 4:30. It's only 4:30 here. We usually go till about 6. I didn't know if somebody had to cut off early, but
no, I've got time to do.
Yeah, same. I've got time till 6. 6 or 7. I don't care.
You guys,
I can go until 5 o'clock my time, and we're coming up on 4 here.
Okay, so that's fine with me. Dex,
that works. I'm good.
Yeah, you get your thing at 7, right?
Awesome.
Which is around the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so as this is all happening, I want to open it up. If anybody wants to, look around, they're just taking a moment, Harmony and Pilgrim, to just kind of discuss something quickly. Is there anything anybody wants to do, or what? I just want to open the floor. So
I'm just looking around. I go and I take a seat, I find a seat somewhere, and I pull out a piece of paper, and I want to go ahead and try to remember one of the images that came across my mind, and I want to just sketch it out to the best of my ability.
Okay. Images from the trance that Ymir was in?
Yes. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
It was the last one that was all white.
Okay. All right. You start sketching that out. Go ahead and roll. Give me a perception check. You don't have the art skill, do you?
Hell no.
Okay. I thought one of you guys had art. I wasn't
I
sure.
do. I do.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Perception.
we'll just flop a perception check in there, and I think we should be in good shape. Okay. So you are able to fairly easily go ahead and come up with that image once again, so that it's a fairly good representation of it. Definitely not exact, but a rough representation. This takes you, let's say that you're able to draw like the upper half very quickly in like the, we'll say like 2 minutes as the ladies are speaking. But that takes up your entire focus. You guys, as they're talking for a moment, Ren and Ymir, what would you like to do?
Ymir would normally feel in a room like this the sense of peace and tranquility that the architects were obviously trying to design. But given all of the recent events that just happened, and maybe it's a residual effect of his new form and the energy surrounding that, he feels no peace. Matter of fact, he feels like he's not in war mode as in angry, but he feels on edge, like he's ready for battle constantly. Even in this tranquil, sort of peaceful corner of this establishment, he finds none. And so he's sitting there kind of uncomfortably trying to keep himself in check, chomping at the bit just because of the energy rushing through his veins.
Okay. All right. Um so as you're trying to kind of contain everything that's happening within you, let's see. Uh Ren, what would you like to be doing? Oop.
Did we lose him?
Oh no,
You
sorry, I
muted?
was muted. I was muted. My bad.
Oh, no worries.
He's kind of in his own head right now. He's very uneasy in this place. While getting here feeling very comfortable, and then quickly going to like once again a non-expected outcome that was way more intense, and everything not being known when it started happening, and as soon as he attempts something being shut down or asked to shut down anything that he knows how to do. Plus he's seen one of his comrades constantly almost seem to be bewitched by this powerful necrotic power like man that he just has a terrible feeling about. He doesn't like the fact that Akama is so willing to just blindly follow this guy and do what he's just like, hey, you want to do this? And he's like, sure, I'll do it. He feels that was an invasive move. It was also just too eager to just say yes to someone. He's being super paranoid right now, and inside of his own head, like
So he's kind of
just
fuming about these things.
he's kind of freaking out, but internally, basically.
Okay. Okay.
It's not necessarily like a panic attack, but it's close to it. of just like what the fuck is going on, you know, like
That's
that.
a lot to have happened in a short amount of
Yeah,
time.
like kind of like it was like I think it's like Will Ferrell when he screams like what? It's like he's doing that, but internally, just being like, what the fuck is going on? Why is everyone like fucking dude just got fucking horns? Although he is intrigued by that, but at the same time, like he's like because his mini freak out that he had outside of the bar to Harmony and Pilgrim, and they kind of chuckled that away. It's like coming back up again, but he knows him freaking out externally again won't do anything except for probably more chuckles from them being like, haha, little one. So he's not doing that, but at the same time, he's like, are you fucking kidding me? Again, all this new shit just getting thrown out. So he's kind of just in quiet observe mode, but internally he's panicking and just kind of synapses are firing like crazy, just trying to gather everything he can of what's going on, and probably overthinking things. Like a small gesture someone may make, he might take it way more than it is meant, you know.
Now I want to encourage you guys. You guys all know the limits and the boundaries and the borders of the psyche that you've developed for your characters. And if there comes a point in time where you feel like tension, anxiety, phobias, whatever you guys got going on, if there comes a point where you feel like it's appropriate, let me know and we'll have you do a mental endurance check. And that's a way for you to say, okay, I think we've hit a point where this character would, something could possibly happen. Something could go wrong.
Oh,
He
for
could
sure.
have a little episode. Just so you guys know.
He's definitely building up to that. I don't know if this is enough has happened.
No.
Like,
I wanted to throw that out there because a lot of times players assume that that's going to come from the GM, but I wanted you guys to understand that's part of it is you guys can go there with your character too. You know what I mean? So
sure.
Okay, so all right, so you're trying to kind of settle all of this in your mind. You're definitely starting to feel your anxiety rising, and you're understanding that there's got to be some way to break through the communication barrier that's happening because you feel like you can be an effective team, but that you definitely are on different pages with a lot of these things, and it's something that it's starting to drive you a little nuts. Let's see, as the moments tick by, Ymir, let's see, you find yourself reaching up and like gently touching your horns, just completely unconsciously, and it's something that you kind of catch yourself in, and it makes you kind of go, you're a little repulsed by it because vanity is not something that, really plays with you. But
right.
It is,
But
it's
there's
almost
that
like
sense
having a
of
bad
pride.
tooth and you just gotta tongue it. You can't help it. So yeah, you do notice this is something everybody else is able to see as well. Most of them don't seem to care, but it is something people pick up on is you've all of a sudden started like reaching up and like tentatively touching these giant horns. So, okay. All right. So
starts buying the good shampoo and conditioner. Never cared about that stuff before.
Got to get that horn wax.
Now he's getting beard wax and horn wax.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's see. You guys are...
Just imagine Red in the background, like underneath those stairs, salivating. Like, I can't wait till one of them falls off. He sheds the first time, and I can get the sample.
He's all carving his initials in him just to mark it. All right. So, as this all kind of wraps up, they seem to decide that they're going to keep heading down the stairs. You guys probably have a moment if anybody wants to look in any of the rooms or any of that kind of stuff. You guys have a moment if you want to do anything, but they do look like they've finished discussing and are starting to turn towards the staircase leading down. So,
do I get the feeling that it would be okay to enter one of these rooms that we were right by?
they don't in any way seem like they're not uptight about it at all. They were literally
I'm gonna
just
check out that
discussing it
black door
themselves.
then.
Okay. You head over to the black door, and as you do, Ymir and Akama, are you guys wanting to stay next to your companion, or do you want to stay in the room?
Yes,
You guys
sir.
both notice I'm kind of heading over there.
Yep. Ymir follows Ren instinctually.